Okay guys, got a 2001 Roadstar here, Yamaha. It's a 1600. We're going to do a valve adjustment on it. I know I've seen a lot of people online, the forums and such, that say they took them to dealerships and the dealership says you don't need to do an adjustment on them. Listen, the truth is, if the valves can be adjusted, they probably need adjusted. If they're non-adjustable valves, they probably don't need adjusted. So if you look in your owner's manual here, it says right here, the valve adjustment. The valve clearance changes with use resulting in improper air fuel mixture, blah blah blah. Take it to a dealership and get it adjusted. So we know it needs to be adjusted because it says it in the book. So we're going to adjust them. I've always adjusted valves if they need adjusted. In due time, you don't realize after driving it 6 months, a year and a half, that, and this is even with vehicles, off-road, quads, etc. You don't realize that they come out of adjustment, but they do. That exhaust valve will tighten up. This one here is running great, just the top end. When you get on it, it's throwing a little bit of a spark out the exhaust, and it's got a lack of power at the top end, not at the bottom end. It's idling fine and everything, so I know it needs adjusted. So I pulled it up here. The adjustment on this is going to be 10 to 37 on intake, 25 to 52 on exhaust, and so I'll probably go about 15 and 30 somewhere in there, or at least check and see where it's at. So let's start off by pulling the seat. And if you have this bike, then you know you're going to twist the key all the way to the left to get the seat off. And let's go ahead and pull the tank off. There's going to be a hose on this side where your fuel line goes in right here. We'll pull it off. I've already pulled the bolts here. Going to have a couple of clips for the electrical such. I think there's 3 underneath there. And right up in this area, we're going to have a hose that we need to pull the return line. So let's get the tank off. Got the 3 bolts here on your gauges. Let's pull those off. Okay, the gauges had those 2 wires right there. We just unclicked them using a little picky tool to hold it down and slide it out. Now we can get the tank off, unclip the clips under it. Okay, the clip under it was this green one right here. And don't forget that vent hose. I didn't show that, but I pulled that before I yanked the tank off. Okay, I'm trying to get this done kind of quick because it is a nice day out and I want to go for a ride. And I'm here alone, kids are in school, etc. Everything's perfect day for a ride. So if I do miss anything, please just leave a comment down in the comment section and I'll get back to you on what I did for this or what I did for that. So I do apologize, you guys, but again, I am in kind of a hurry, but I wanted to make sure that you've seen the video as well. So let's go ahead and pull out the spark plugs. Wires, we'll pull both of those off. We'll pull these 2 vent tubes, and then let's get all those Allen bolts off. There should be plenty of room to get that thing up and slide it out, or slide it out either direction. So let's get the top of that head off, or valve cover I should say. Okay, so we have both valve covers off now. I don't know what size that Allen wrench was that I used. I used a small one to get in there, and then a bigger one to get, or taller one I should say, to speed it out. It doesn't really say what size it is, but I don't know. Whatever size it was, T25 or whatever. Or that's a Torx, isn't it? You'll figure it out. One of the tools that you do want to get is a little magnetic stem magnet, because it really helps to get things out, especially those bolts way back there. And if you drop things such as the Allen wrench down inside the cylinder hole. But let me show you this now, okay? There's 2 things that I never believe. One is, and this is in my opinion, I never believe anything a dealership says. The other thing is the internet. I never believe what they say. Do your own research, guys. So they say there's non-adjusting valves. You can look right there and see that valve adjusts right there. So there's got to be a reason why it adjusts. This vehicle is a prime example why. Do you see the white on there? When I started up this vehicle, it would sit and it would idle perfectly fine. At higher RPMs, I couldn't get it. If I wanted to get up to 2,500 RPMs, it would just start spitting out. And I had to shift to go faster. I couldn't get the full throttle. And there was small sparks coming out the exhaust when I let off. I'd rev it up real hard and let off, pop, 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 pop. It would let off. And this is a perfect reason why right here. And it was running rich. I knew that because of the fire in the exhaust. It's running rich, the fuel's going out. Why is this thing running rich? Why is it running rich? Well, look at this spark plug. It's white. The engine was running lean. You guys understand why, right? The most common thing to happen with valves that are adjustable or even not adjustable, People call them a tired engine. It's not a tired engine if the valves can be adjusted. If the valves cannot be adjusted, then it's a tired engine, and you're going to have to get some work done because you can't adjust anything. When the intake and the exhaust, how do they come out of adjustment? The intake will loosen up the adjustment for it. The exhaust will tighten up. So when the intake loosens up, it allows fuel to get past where it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be inside the cylinder, but it allows it to get past. It stays open too long. And when the exhaust valve is open, it allows it to get past and go through the exhaust valve. And then on top of the fact, you have an exhaust valve that is tightening up. That means it's tighter. It's going down further. It's not closing all the way. So there's times too with the fuel going out the exhaust. So I'm running lean because not all the fuel is getting in my cylinder. That's the reason my spark plug is white. If it was dark, I'd be running rich in the engine. I'm running lean in the engine because the spark, right, the white, but I'm running rich in the exhaust because of the pop. So both valves are going to need adjusted. Haven't checked them yet, but I guarantee it. So, okay, let's go ahead and, sorry about that, a little bit of lesson. I know I'm in a hurry to get out there too. So we're sitting on the bike. The engine closest to me, if you have a 1600, on the left-hand side is number 1. On the right-hand side is number 2. Left-hand side closest to the front steering is number 3. And, oh, did I just screw that up? No, that's correct. And on the right side if you're sitting on the bike on the right side is number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our firing order. So let's go ahead and get these adjusted. Let me show you how to take that plate off the other side and bring them up to TDC. If we could see the cam at this point, we would just float the valves and adjust them. But we're going to go ahead and bring it up. Covers here are 6 bolts, off the cover here. 2 12mm nuts underneath the shifting linkage, and you'll be able to drop that out of the way. You've got 2 plastic covers, one right there and one right there. This one here is to turn the cylinders. This one here is to eyeball the timing mark. So let's go ahead and get a 19mm now, and we'll get it set on there, and we'll bring the number 1 up to TDC, top dead center. Okay, remember which one I told you was number 1? When you're sitting on the seat, it's to your left and closest to you. I'm going to set that little screwdriver right there. I can already feel it sitting on the piston. But we need to bring it to top dead center. It needs to be up as high as it can be on the compression stroke. So, got our 19mm in there. As I turn it clockwise, see the screwdriver come up. Probably need 3 hands for this. She's still coming up. Let's get it to the highest point that it can be. I'm going to need a second hand. Be right back. Okay, so now she's at the highest point, sitting at top dead center. And we can verify that by looking inside there. See the little marks? There's an H, but look above that. There's a line and a line. And you want that, which it is. The bike's sitting on an angle. There's a tiny nick right here in the case. That's the timing mark for the case. And then the timing mark down there, you can see the top line needs to be right in line with the case. So we know we're at number 1, top dead center. So now we can adjust the valves. Okay guys, just wanted to add this for you right here. So you can pause it if you need to. I'm going to go up a page and let you pause that. Right here, see, intake and exhaust, both 4/1000ths on that. I know I'm going to get some questions about that, but that's what the book says. So here's our 2 marks here. Here's our timing marks. This is after we turn it at 405 degrees. So let you read that. Pause it if you need to. And here's your direction, whether you're adjusting the screw side or the slip side on the cam. The slip side simply means the side that does not have the screw. So pause on that, let you see that. If you don't have this tool here, I've used just a screwdriver, or I'm sorry, a pair of needle nose pliers. And you don't need that because that's putting the stuff back together and etc. So once again, there you go. Thanks guys, enjoy. Okay, so right before we adjust the valves here, one more quick step. Now, if you have the timing marks lined up, you have the piston at top dead center, and you're still feeling pressure on the valve, you're like, oh my gosh, this can't be right. Am I on the right compression stroke or exhaust stroke, intake stroke that I'm supposed to be on in order to adjust the valves? You probably are, and the reason the valves are tight is because they need adjustment, especially that exhaust valve. But there is one more thing that you can do. You're going to pull this cover off right here, this one, and just double check your timing marks. Now see on the crank, there's that little dot. On the cam, there's that little dot. So we know that everything's in time, and now is the time to adjust the valves. Now, when we get ready to adjust the front part, now we're going to go ahead and adjust this valve. Let me just show you it real quick. So I got my feeler gauge in there. You're going to break loose that nut, then you're going to turn the stud on the top until the valve, or until your valve gauge slides in and out pretty stiffly. That's pretty snug. That feels pretty good, so I'm going to lock it down there. Now, oh, by the way, these are to be adjusted at 4 thousandths and 4 thousandths. Intake 4 thousandths and exhaust 4 thousandths. Now, when you get ready to adjust number 3 and 4, the way that you're going to do that is you're going to go over there and turn that counterclockwise 1.5 turns. You're going to see just one mark, not two marks. So it's like, I think it's 405 degrees or something like that. So go 360, a full revolution, and then another half a revolution or so, you'll see one mark. So go nice and easy counterclockwise with the ratchet, and you'll see the other mark. And then you're going to adjust these intake and exhaust valves on number 3 and 4. You're going to adjust those at 4 thousandths and 4 thousandths, just like we did right here. I hope that makes sense to you. So essentially, when you put the socket back on here and you rotate this counterclockwise, one full revolution and then a half revolution, you're going to hit the one mark, and that's where you're going to do the second valve lash clearance. And what you will see over here, I haven't done it yet because we're still capping this off, but what you will see over here is this crank timing mark will be down here and this cam timing mark will be up here. They'll still be straight in line, but it'll be up here and down here instead. So make sure that you turn that counterclockwise before readjusting the other valves. So I hope this video helps you out. If you need some more information, leave it in the comments section. I'm going to button this up, get it done, and get out on the road. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. Please click like, please click subscribe, click on my name underneath this video for all my other how-to videos. And if there's anything else, guys, let me know. I know I rushed this and I apologize. But as always, enjoy.